Can you tell me, I guess, if it's okay, how did you first find out about this?
I got a phone call from St. Mary's High School telling me that my son was injured and being taken to the hospital in an ambulance and to come as soon as possible.
At first, well, your sister said that she thought it was a car accident. Did you know what happened, or were you?
No, I didn't. I thought the same thing. When I called her and asked her to come get me, my first reaction was he got hit by a car on the way to school.
What happened then? Tell me the next step. What happened? Like, did you go to the school or the hospital?
We went to the hospital. The ambulance wasn't there yet, so we went to the school so I could be with him. And then the ambulance took him to the hospital, and I met them there. Then he got looked over by the doctors, and they started diagnosing what his problems were and what occurred during the fight.
When you first heard, or not when you first heard, but I mean, when you heard that it was a fight, step by step, when they first told you it was a fight, your thoughts?
That my son would never physically harm another human, so I knew that it was something that shouldn't have happened.
It's okay. By all means, it's okay. They tell me, you went down to the police station at some point, and this is where you saw the video?
No, showed me the video at the hospital when they came to question me. But they came for his statement, but he was in and out of consciousness and couldn't give a statement or anything like that. And that's when they decided that I had the right to see the video, so they knew what was going on. And I could physically only watch the first 2 seconds of the video, and then I wasn't able to watch anymore, and I haven't even tried to watch it since.
Tell me what it's been like. Tell me what it was like at the beginning first.
Terrifying. Seeing him at the school and his face like that, I couldn't even put into words what happened. I kept on asking the cops if it was real and if they had the kid and if my son had any involvement, and they reassured me that there was video of what occurred and that my son was an innocent bystander and that he did absolutely nothing to deserve what happened to him. And then at that point, it just confirmed what I already knew, that my son would never hurt anybody.
What's it been like since? It must be a roller coaster of emotion. I would guess that you're a private family, but I mean...
Absolutely. I had to turn my notifications and everything and sign out of my Facebook because it was just an overwhelming response, mostly positive, but also some negative. And I didn't know how to handle it, so that's when I stepped up and asked my sister if she could just deal with that aspect of it for me. He's not able to leave the house. He's nervous. He's scared. He's also very scared for the 4 friends that stayed with him. He's terrified that something's going to happen to them. And he still thinks that this boy is going to come and get him. He still thinks that if he leaves the house, he's going to be found.
Your son said something in there that shows the type of character he is. Tell me what he said in there.
He told me last night when we were having a heart-to-heart that he feels sorry for the boy and his parents, that they are going through this, and he doesn't wish it on anybody. He wants justice, but he doesn't want the family to be hurt.
What were your thoughts when he said that? You know your boy best, obviously, but what were your thoughts when he said that to you?
I started bawling my eyes out and told him that he is honestly just one of the smartest, kindest kids, and that it shows a lot of his character for him to be going through this and still being able to think about how they feel.
How's your son doing?
His anxiety is through the roof. He's actually experiencing panic attacks, which has never occurred. He refuses to sleep in his room. He only sleeps in my room or on the couch. Doesn't want to be by himself at all. He's totally just 100% dependent on me and his father right now.
What do you think about the people that stood around there and watched this?
At first I didn't believe it. When I was told, I said, that can't be true. Like, it's such a popular location, and I just didn't believe it. But then when my son started telling me he was coming in and out of consciousness after the fact, and he was laying in the rain, bleeding, and he saw people go and buy coffee and walk right by him with the coffee, and as he was coming in and out of consciousness, and his friends were trying to wipe his face off with the napkins that they got from the establishment, which apparently no one saw anything, which that's a whole other situation, I guess, but I don't believe that for a minute. There's just no way no one saw anything.
If it was premeditated, it appears there was a number of people standing there. Obviously, their cameras were turned on before this incident happened. How does that make you feel?
Horrible. And I'm almost 100% positive that one of the people with the camera on I've let him into my home. He is supposed to be one of my son's very good friends, and it absolutely shocked and disgusted me when I found out that he was the main one with the phone and the main one that sent the video out.
Did he stick around?
No.
Yeah, okay, I just wanted to make sure of that.
Yeah, no, he didn't stick around. He got the video, and then he ended up back at school, and when the principal asked my son, did anyone tape it, that's when my son mentioned the other little boy's name, and he got called down to the office.
Were you surprised that the school said to bring him back to the school?
Absolutely. When I heard that, I was in shock, but when I spoke to the principal, I guess when the phone call came through from my son's friends, they were in shock, and I guess they didn't really explain to the point of what it was, and they also told me that they thought if it was that bad, that 911 would have been called from the establishment, and that he wouldn't even be back at the school to begin with, that they would have been getting a call from the hospital saying that one of your students is here. So they were in shock that that never happened, and didn't understand how he ended up back at the school.
And I know I'm jumping around on this, but what do you think should be done for the people that were standing there watching this, for the people that, for the students that were watching it? What does this say about, in part two, what does this say about the character of the people that walked by and saw your son?
The students, I can't even, I get it, kids will be kids, and they were probably just as scared because this boy has such a bad reputation to do things, and they probably didn't know exactly what to do or say. But then there was the other students who were laughing, and they thought it was a joke. And to those students, I hope that nothing like this ever happens to them, and if it does, that someone helps them and doesn't let them go through it. And as for the community, the people, I'm still in shock by that no one, I get maybe not wanting to jump in as it was happening, but after the fact, when he was laying there on the ground for 15 minutes bleeding, coming in and out of unconsciousness, that someone, anybody would have at least asked him if he was okay. Especially the staff. I thought for sure someone in there would have, but no one did.
So basically, if I understand that he was knocked out, the four friends stuck around, cleaned him up, for lack of a better word, with the blood. He was bleeding, I take it?
Yes, out of his nose, yes.
And cleaned him up and then walked him back to the school?
They pretty much carried him. He was in the middle, and he had his arms around two people, and they, pretty much dragged him back to the school. And that's when my son actually tried to go right back to class because he was scared of retaliation. He didn't want anybody to know what happened. The adrenaline was going through him so much he didn't know what to do. He's never been put in the situation before. He didn't want the boy to be in trouble. He didn't know what to do. So he tried to go back to class, and then that's when the principal saw him and said, absolutely not, you need to go to the hospital immediately.
The bad thing about this, tell me, what does this say about society in bad terms?
I don't even know, because I think everyone has their own point of view about how to handle things. But I think when it comes to an underage child or any youth, that you just need to suck up how you feel and protect the youth. That's the youth that's our future. We have all of this youth running around just punching people in the face, like, what is that going to say for us? We just need to step up and do better. We need to do better.
Born and raised in this town?
Yes, I was.
What does it say about the town?
That it's really starting to turn for the worse. It used to be such a beautiful community where you could walk around and do anything and be free and not have to care, and now it's to the point where you almost want to have bear mace or pepper spray with you to go anywhere or do anything. And especially after this, it's just totally made it even worse for us all.
On the positive side, I would take it you've seen some of the response or a lot of the response from people.
Oh, absolutely. I turned my phone on last night when my sister messaged me and told me all of this was happened, and I just couldn't believe it. I can't believe it. I almost feel like we don't deserve it, to be honest, but like, it's just so much to take in, and I'm so grateful. It really just makes me see that, yes, these people were scared to jump in and protect him, but there is still people in our community that care and want to help, and that means more than anything to us right now.
What are your son's injuries?
He has a fractured bone under his eye, and then he has an optic nerve stuck in the fracture. And then he also had a nose injury and a thumb injury.
Require surgery?
We go see the the plastic surgeon on Monday, but they're saying very likely surgery, but they have to wait for the swelling to go down and the pressure on the brain before they can see the severity of the damage done to the eye.
Concussion?
Yes, severe concussion. Yes, they said that's it's a fractured concussion or something, and that it could last the rest of his life because of it. He'll always have sensitivity to light and sound, and he already had bad eyesight to begin with. He wore glasses, and when we were at the eye surgeon the other day, they said that there's a very good chance that he'll never be able to see properly out of that one eye again. So, but once again, we have to wait to see till all the swelling goes down before they can actually tell us for sure.
And obviously very secondary to this, but the glasses were broken?
Yes, they were broken.
Cell phone broken?
The cell phone was cracked into the thing, and the battery ended up,
Yeah, all right. What do you think about the GoFundMe?
I was shocked at the fact that people put up a GoFundMe. I've seen it done hundreds of times, and I've always donated to plenty of people who were in need of it, and I never in a million years thought that it would be us. But I'm truly grateful because it's really going to help with a lot. It's going to make everything a lot easier knowing that we can take days off work and he can get the counseling and the therapy and everything that he needs quicker than what it would be if we had to wait for it just to happen.
I'm going to ask you a hard question, and I know it's hard, but this has been a roller coaster of emotion for you.
Definitely. It's been the hardest thing that I've ever experienced in my life, and I've experienced a lot of heart-wrenching things in my 34 years, but seeing your son like that was by far the worst. I can't get the images out of my head. I only watched the first couple of seconds, but I saw the first 2 punches, and every time I close my eyes, it's all I see. I haven't slept in 3 days. I'm not really eating. I'm not taking care of myself like I should be because I'm too worried about taking care of him. And my 9-year-old who's also traumatized by it.